Why Mario Barrios? I mean, why not, right? I mean, he has a WBC title. People always got something to say about me not being a world champion, but somehow making more money than them, you know? I mean, I just got to flex on them one time. But, so I'm here just to, settle that noise a little bit and just really show everybody that when I'm at my, best, that I could really do damage to anybody at 147. So
I want to go into the fight, I want to test his heart. I want to test, how bad, he really wants to be in there. Because, you're right, me, Devin, even Rollies, we all have very different styles. But I'm the type of fighter, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to press you. Like, I'm going to, whether I get dropped, whether I get hurt, I'm going to be in there, trying to hurt you. I'm in there with bad intentions. I don't go looking for a knockout, but if it comes, it comes.
And the moment they sat down live, you could feel the temperature shift before the punches even started flying, because Ryan wasn't talking like a guy promoting a fight. He was talking like a guy defending his entire reputation.
I'm gonna spice it. The only thing I'm worried about him for is Joe don't stop fights. So if he's getting clipped, cut, he ain't gonna stop the fight. I'm just telling you, he ain't gonna stop that fight. I know you don't want it, but he ain't coming to save you, I tell you that. Like, Joe is one of those guys. So, because I predict it's gonna be a bloody fight. I'm being dead serious. I think it's gonna be a lot of cuts. I'm just saying. Mark my words. And I think he's gonna need to stop it, but he won't. But hey, you're a warrior. You're an Aztec warrior. So I'm right? So, ooh, it's gonna be good. Oh, cannot wait.
When he says, why Mario Barrios? Why not? He's got the WBC title. That's not matchmaking logic. That's legacy frustration spilling out in real time.
And the fact that Joe's training him is hilarious to me. I know all Joe's techniques. He don't teach but putting your hands up. So I'm about to put a beating on these guys bad, to the point where I'm probably gonna retire both of them, Joe and Mario Barrios. They're probably never gonna work a boxing fight after that. And I told him already on the other show I was on, yo, when I knock him out, this is a bet. You could never wear that Canadian tuxedo again. I'm tired of seeing that. It's retired. I got something for him, so, it sucks for Mario. He made a bad move there. Joe made a bad move, and now I'm gonna just put a stamp on both of them. Back.
He knows the not a world champion narrative has been chasing him like a shadow, and you can hear the irritation under the confidence. Then he doubles down, talking about making a real statement at 147 and doing Barrios like nobody else has. And I'm sitting there thinking, that's bold when you're facing a guy who doesn't fold easily.
Ryan, you said you don't know which version of you is going to show up.
Yeah, I mean, I know which one's version is going to show up this fight. At the end of the day, that Rolly camp was just a hard one to get by, I was doing a lot of stupid shit, not treating my body like a temple before that. I mean, obviously I had a year layoff. But it's okay, it's behind us. I'm ready to I positioned my body to be in top form. I feel in top form, top shape. And that's what he's gonna get, the best version of me.
What's different about this camp?
Man, we just started early, man. We started way out, didn't wait for somebody to give me a date. And made sure that when I came into camp, I was already ready to fire off. And, everything's clicking perfectly now.
What really caught my attention, though, is when Ryan brushes off Joe Goossen training Barrios, basically saying, I know Joe's techniques, I've been around that, and calling it a bad move. That's psychological warfare disguised as casual confidence. But here's the twist. Saying you know the system also means the system knows you. That knife cuts both ways.
At the end of the day, bro, they're all gonna get it bad. Like, I'm gonna do them so bad. Joe's a known mole. Not to get deep in it, but he's a mole. I talk my. He's a traitor, and I got something for him come the press conference for all of them. They're not ready for this type of mental warfare. I've been in the long car rides with Joe. I know everything about Joe. I know and Mario, he's just gonna get whooping like no other. That's just what that is.
Then he brings up the hand being 100% and being mentally different out of that dark stretch. And suddenly the energy shifts from bravado to redemption mode. You can tell this isn't just about winning rounds, it's about rewriting perception. And when Ryan says he doesn't care about the crowd, testing talk, or noise, and he's locked in,
What do you think Joe's telling him about you?
I mean, same thing as everybody says, you know, left hand, make sure that's up, you gotta protect it, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what I would imagine he's saying. And gotta take that away. It's probably, you know, other little things like that. You know, they drill a lot of just keeping the hands up all day long. So it's like here, 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 here. But, you know, this freestyle type of boxing, you know, with technique is gonna overwhelm this man.
That's either the calm before a statement performance or the calm of a man trying to convince himself as much as everyone else. Either way, that interview didn't feel promotional. It felt personal. And right when Ryan's energy is all fire and self-belief, Mario Barrios walks into the interview sounding like the calm guy who already accepted the storm is coming.
I know, everything that Ryan has been saying, he's saying, he's focused, his team is saying that he's the sharpest he's ever looked, all this stuff. And all I can really say is, I hope so, man. Like, I can only hope, I step in there on fight night and I get the best version of Ryan. Because that's gonna bring the best version out of me, and then that's only gonna benefit the sport of boxing. I'm looking to have a sensational performance. I want to have a very I want to make a statement with this fight. I haven't had the type of victory defending my title yet, and that's really what I'm looking to get out of this fight.
Sean asks him straight up who's more dangerous, a 46-year-old Pacquiao or Ryan. And I love how Mario doesn't take the bait. He basically says, depends which Ryan shows up. And that's the most honest scouting report you can give. Because even Barrios is preparing for the best version, not the chaotic version. That's veteran thinking. Then he casually drops that he actually hopes he gets the sharpest Ryan. And that line is sneaky competitive. He's not dismissing him. He's inviting the challenge. But the real tension hits when he starts talking about the influencer streamer persona. That wasn't loud trash talk, that was controlled skepticism. He's basically saying Ryan is a legitimate boxer.
Like, Ryan is a legitimate fighter, like a legitimate boxer. But he definitely has like that influencer, like streamer, like persona. And like that's really the only thing that I don't fuck with. And it's not that like I don't like him, it's just everything they do, or the way that they move is like they move it in a way that, like, if they know there's always like a camera on them, or there's always like trying to do something for like clicks or likes. So yeah, I did call him a payaso, and it was just because the whole like his antics. I know that he has his his history with Joe.
With a camera-first aura, and he doesn't resonate with that energy. Cold. And when he admits he called him payaso because of the antics and build-up drama, you can tell this isn't hatred, it's irritation with the theatrics. What really stood out to me though is when Barrios said he wants to test Ryan's heart. Not his speed, not his power, his heart. That's psychological warfare disguised as professionalism. He even brings up pressing forward no matter what happens. And that tells me his game plan is pressure, pressure, and more pressure. While Ryan is talking statements and redemption, Barrios is talking identity and durability. One guy wants to prove he's changed. The other wants to prove he's always been this way. That contrast? Dangerous chemistry.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions, that I'm looking, to ask, on fight night. I want to go into the fight, I want to test his heart. I want to test, how bad, he really wants to be in there. Because, you're right, me, Devin, even Rollies, we all have very different styles. But I'm the type of fighter, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to press you.
And just when Barrios is sitting there talking about testing hard and pressing with bad intentions, Conor Benn slides into the conversation like a guy already scouting the winner with a raised eyebrow. The moment he calls Ryan Garcia a loose cannon, I leaned forward. Because that's not disrespect, that's a stylistic diagnosis. Ben isn't denying the talent, he literally says Ryan is gifted, entertaining, fast, athletic, but then he pairs that praise with unpredictability and even hints at unprofessional tendencies. And that contrast is loud without him ever raising his voice. That's a fighter reading behavior, not just highlights. What really caught my attention is when Ben says Ryan should win on paper, but then immediately questions whether he actually will, bringing up the Raleigh fight and how life outside the ring can take a toll. That's layered analysis. He's basically saying ability and application are two different fights.
And I would tune in to watch a Ryan Garcia fight. But when you have them qualities mixed with someone who's, has true Mexican blood, fights with heart, fights with pride, and fights for his country, and fights for something more than clicks and views, it's hard to pick who's gonna win. Really, you think Ryan should win, and Ryan should win, really. He should. Will he?
And then he pivots to Barrios in a very calculated way, framing him as the guy with heart, pride, and something deeper than clicks and views. That's subtle respect disguised as comparison. Ben isn't hyping Barrios as flashy, he's framing him as grounded, dangerous in a quiet way. He even acknowledges that Barrios has been in the trenches for years at welterweight, while Ryan is still trying to stamp his identity there. And I love how he refuses to fully pick a winner, saying it's hard to call when entertainment-level explosiveness meets traditional grit. That's a smart fighter's take. Not emotional, not fan-driven, strategic. Almost like he's already imagining fighting the winner at Wembley and measuring commercial value versus in-ring reliability at the same time. Ben's energy isn't hype, it's calculation. He sees Ryan as chaos with elite tools and Barrios as structure with proven toughness. And when a future contender talks like that, he's not just watching the fight, he's studying the aftermath.
I'm not going to pull my eggs in one basket and bank on Ryan winning.
Yeah.
Or even wait until then.
Yeah.
We could do the Rolly Romero fight in May at the O2 in London. And then the winner of Garcia Barrios, in June, July for a unification. So or we just go to Rolly and then, fight the winner.
And the moment that whole loose cannon conversation hangs in the air, Boxing Scene basically zooms the camera out and goes, hold on, let's talk structure, coaching, and the chaos behind the curtain. And suddenly Ryan going back to Henry Garcia stops looking sentimental and starts looking strategic or risky, depending on which lens you use. When Paulie says father-son dynamics can go either way, I'm nodding immediately because with Ryan, it's never been about talent, it's about control. Chris Algieri pointing out Ryan's very large personality isn't a throwaway line, that's the core of this entire camp. You can almost hear the subtext. Can Henry actually ground him, or is he just familiar comfort? And then it gets spicy when they mention Ryan having trouble listening, preferring living room-style training vibes over strict gym structure. That's not just critique, that's a red flag wrapped in politeness.
When you have a star, an athlete that can work with most of the trainers that have been around you, great trainers, but you just can't work with them, then you come back to your dad who hasn't been around training you for a few years already. I think this is just a situation where let's keep it up in the house. Let's do it our way. Let's see what happens and make as much out of it.
Meanwhile, Robert Garcia saying this feels like keeping it in-house because Ryan wants to call the shots? That's a heavyweight observation without throwing a punch. And here's where Barrios quietly becomes the silent pressure in the room. Because while analysts debate Ryan's coaching chemistry, nobody questions Barrios' discipline. One side is emotional recalibration, the other is steady preparation for a world title defense. Robert even admits Ryan still has the speed, power, and ability to knock Barrios out, which is terrifyingly true. But he immediately separates that from the father-son connection being some magical formula. Translation? If Ryan wins, it might be because he's special, not because the system is perfect. And that's the tension. Barrios is being prepared like a problem to solve. Ryan is being rebuilt like a project to stabilize. Different energies, same ring. And when a fight starts being analyzed through psychology instead of just skill, you already know the volatility level just went up without anybody needing to shout about it.
That's probably the reason he's not with them anymore, because they had to put up rules. They had to say, this is allowed, this is not, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. And maybe Ryan didn't like it. That's why he's, those are three of the best trainers out there. You can't pick anybody better than that. And you're still not with any of those. That just, tells you that he wants to do his thing on his own. And that's why he's bringing in the dad now. He still has the skills, he still has the power, he still has the speed to connect and knock Barrios out. He could do it, and he's going to do it.
So when you step back and look at the full picture, this fight doesn't feel like a simple clash of styles. It feels like a collision of narratives that have been building for years without directly touching until now. On one side, you've got Ryan Garcia fighting more than just Mario Barrios. He's fighting perception, reputation, and the echo of every criticism about discipline, focus, and consistency. Every quote, every interview, every camp decision screams one thing: redemption mode. Meanwhile, Barrios isn't trying to reinvent himself or sell a transformation arc. He's leaning into who he already is: durable, steady, and mentally stubborn in the ring. And that contrast is what makes this matchup volatile in a very real way. Analysts are questioning Ryan's structure, fighters like Ben are questioning his unpredictability, and the coaching debate adds another psychological layer before a single punch is thrown. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody can ignore. Raw talent versus controlled pressure has always been a dangerous equation in boxing. If Ryan is truly locked in, sharp and emotionally centered like he claims, his speed and explosiveness can flip the entire script in seconds. But if Barrios drags him into deep waters, tests his heart like he openly said, and forces a disciplined fight instead of a flashy one, the narrative can shift very quickly. This isn't just about who is more skilled, it's about who is more stable under pressure when the spotlight gets loud and the moment gets heavy. Drop your take in the comments, let's really talk about it. And yo, don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. See you in the next one.